Mr. Speaker, I asked the Prime Minister some very specific questions today about whether he was informed of allegations that Beijing interfered in any of our elections, and he refused to answer. So I will give him a sixth try. The question is not whether he knows of a candidate that received money. It's not whether there's a committee somewhere that said that the election turned out as it should. The question is if at any time, prior to the recent media reports, he was informed by his officials of interference by Beijing in our elections. Yes or no?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Very encouraged by my Conservative colleagues who can also be assured that Canadians know that the elections in 2019 and 2021 were free and fair. And why do we know that? Because we had two independent panels who looked at allegations of foreign interference and confirmed as much. More importantly, Mr. Speaker, we are putting in place the tools that are necessary to protect all of our democratic institutions so that Canadians can have their voices reflected and heard in this chamber. Thank you.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The RCMP wrote a letter to a parliamentary committee confirming that it is investigating foreign interference, and it said in particular that interference includes in democratic processes. Democratic processes. The Constitution defines democratic rights as voting, which of course is elections. The RCMP put that in writing. CSIS officials testified that there is foreign interference that includes in elections and ridings. Would CSIS and the RCMP have made these comments publicly without informing the Prime Minister first?
The Honourable Minister for Intergovernmental Affairs.
Mr. Speaker, as the Prime Minister has said very clearly, and my colleague, the Minister of Public Safety, has repeated, our government put in place an independent process of experts chaired by the Clerk of the Privy Council, something the previous Conservative government hadn't thought important enough to do. And Mr. Speaker, that group of experts, chaired by the Clerk of the Privy Council, including the heads of our security and intelligence agencies, were given the important responsibility of ensuring that Canadian elections were free and democratic. And the good news, Mr. Speaker, I know it won't impress the Leader of the Opposition, the good news is they confirmed that both elections were exactly that.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, that was exactly not the question. The question was not whether a committee confirmed the validity of the overall election result. The question was not whether or not the Prime Minister is aware of an individual candidate getting money from another country. The question was whether he was briefed by police, intelligence, or public servants on any interference by Beijing in any of our elections. Once again, the Prime Minister would please stand up and speak for himself, yes or no.
The Honourable Minister for Public Safety.
I appreciate my honourable colleague's concern, and that is why we had two independent panels look at, with great forensic detail, allegations of foreign interference. Now, this review was carried out by nonpartisan, professional public servants so that we could all be sure that our elections were free and fair, and that is precisely what they confirmed. And now our government continues to be vigilant against all forms of foreign interference by giving law enforcement and national security partners the tools that they need to do so. Thank you.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Well, the Prime Minister has the tools that he needs to stand up and answer the question. He would know if his officials, if the police or the intelligence bodies briefed him on any foreign interference in elections. That's the specific question that I have now asked 7 times. At first, the Prime Minister refused to give a proper answer, and now he's refusing to even take to his feet and face the question. So one last time, was he ever briefed on interference by foreign actors in our elections, yes or no?
The Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we obviously share the concern of all members of this House about the importance of protecting Canadian democracy from any foreign interference. And we know that authoritarian regimes around the world have attacked other Western democracies for many reasons, and for many years. That's why we thought, Mr. Speaker, it was important to take all the steps necessary to protect our democratic institutions. And as the Leader of the Opposition will know, we also set up the National Security and Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians, something that the previous Conservative government didn't do, and they have access to that confidential information.